One of the biggest rematches in the history of the sport, Usyk vs. Joshua 2, will take place on the 20th of August 2022 at the Jeddah Superdome in Saudi Arabia. Rage on the Red Sea is the ultimate battle between the Cat and AJ, which will determine who deserves to be the real heavyweight champion. Will Anthony Joshua finally put things right? Or will Oleksandr Usyk prove too savvy for him once more? Stay tuned to find out. First match. The hugely anticipated upcoming professional boxing match between the current heavyweight champion Oleksandr Usyk and the former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua is really worth looking forward to. But let us talk about their first match that forced AJ to bite the dust in the first place. AJ started his amazing career with 22 consecutive victories before he suffered a tremendous defeat via TKO at Andy Ruiz Jr.'s hands back in June 2019. His loss to Usyk is the second one in his past 4 fights, so things have been looking grim for him for quite some time now. On the other hand, Usyk has a perfect 19-0 record, and he's been undefeated so far. The Cat started his career in the cruiserweight division before moving up to heavyweight, and it seems that he's created a perfect spot for himself in this division. Anyway, the perfect storm was a jaw-dropping contest between Usyk and Joshua, which took place on the 25th of September 2021 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. To put it mildly, this fight was an absolute thriller, with nearly 68,000 fans at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on the edges of their seats. Now, it came as a surprise to many when the WBA, IBF, WBO, and IBO heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua got his ass handed to him by the former undisputed cruiserweight champion and the WBO's heavyweight mandatory challenger, Oleksandr Usyk. Right from the start, Usyk set a truly hellacious fury of heavier shots to outbox Anthony Joshua. In fact, Usyk could connect more total punches than Anthony Joshua. That is, 148 to 123. Talk about overdoing it! Not to mention that Usyk was also more precise because he clearly landed 28% of punches thrown compared to Joshua's 19.2%. So the show ended with Usyk having landed 29 punches in round 12 and soundly defeating AJ via unanimous decision to capture the unified heavyweight championship. And what a resounding victory it was for Usyk! After the match, he even stated, quote, "This means much for me, a lot. The fight went exactly the way I expected it to go. There were a couple of moments when Anthony pushed me hard, but nothing special." Bold words there, indeed. But it suits his style, because Usyk became only the 3rd boxer in history to claim world titles both at cruiserweight and heavyweight. At the same time, this defeat has left the prospect of an undisputed unification bout with Tyson Fury in complete tatters, much to Anthony Joshua's dismay. However, there is nothing to worry about, because 2 rivals are gearing up to battle it out once more in a rematch soon enough. Rematch between Usyk and AJ. Due to the Russia-Ukraine war, the timing of the encore encounter was left in doubt. Many boxers like Usyk, Vasily Lomachenko, and the Klitschko brothers had to put aside their ring gear and join Ukraine in its fight against the Russians. Even Usyk was doubtful when he said, quote, "I really don't know when I'm going to be stepping back in the ring. My country and my honor are more important to me than a championship belt." However, now that Usyk has returned from Ukraine to prepare for his upcoming match against Joshua, we couldn't be more thrilled. Now, here's the thing. Anthony Joshua isn't exactly a stranger to exacting revenge. Oh no, sir. When AJ gets pissed, he tends to win his titles back in decisive victories. That's what rematches are for, and AJ usually gets his way. According to Eddie Hearn, who is the chairman of Matchroom Boxing, quote, "The rematch is going to be tough, but there's nowhere to hide. AJ is at the stage of his career where he wants his world championship, and he's already talking about it now." In fact, Joshua has parted from longtime coach Robert McCracken and taken on a new trainer to prepare him for his upcoming rematch against Usyk. Robert Garcia has joined AJ's training team, and people are already speculating how things will go. According to AJ himself, he's on a revenge mission, and boy is he determined as hell to win this second fight. In a press conference, he confidently stated, quote, "I'm definitely hungry. I'm definitely desperate. But at the end of the day, how I perform will speak volumes to the masses." He also added, quote, "I'm definitely desperate to get my hands on the titles. Just let me get in there and do my job." However, Usyk hasn't backed down either, and he is also focused on the task, saying, quote, "I'm not fighting for money or for recognition. Many people want the recognition. Many people want others to remember them. But I don't need this. I don't want to become the great. I'm just doing my job now, and I will continue doing it while my heart is beating." But this time, the winner is expecting a different approach from Joshua in their highly anticipated rematch. Quote, "I do understand that he's going to be different. So will I." Now, let's talk about the different fighting styles and strengths and weaknesses of Usyk and AJ. Oleksandr Usyk. Fighting style. Usyk is a southpaw boxer, and he's nicknamed the Cat for good reason. This can be attributed to Usyk's fast and mobile fighting style that often catches his opponents off guard. His boxing rhythm keeps him active and perpetually mobile in the ring, making him a tough target. Can't hit a moving target very well now, can you? So the technique Usyk relies on heavily is the pendulum step, which is part of the Russian boxing system. The pendulum step helps Usyk to be more energy efficient and have greater stamina in the ring. This means that he has more momentum when it comes to punching or moving to a more dominant position. Moreover, the southpaw boxer also likes to throw punches in bunches, and it's a pretty common sight to see him throwing 5 or 6 punch combos at his poor opponents. And to further disorient his opponents, Usyk tends to throw subsequent punches on the same side, which breaks up their head movements and expectations. Now, let's see what tricks Usyk hides up his sleeves during a match. Strengths. Southpaw advantage. Even seasoned professionals can look like total amateurs against a southpaw. Southpaw boxers often have the edge over the orthodox boxers. For example, Usyk uses this stance for shortening the distance that his jab has to travel. In this way, he can out-jab a much taller AJ in their upcoming match. Jab dominance. Much of Usyk's overall success can be attributed to Usyk's incredible jab dominance. He tends to throw continuous jabs that end up disrupting his opponent's timing. In fact, his jabbing resembles a fencer's rapier, probing to find a weakness in his rival's defense. Not only that, but he also uses a unique technique where he positions his lead foot outside and then slips, all the while keeping his head on the inside while jabbing. This allows Usyk to execute a jab and exit to the outside angle quickly. Hand traps and guard destruction. Usyk usually relies on hand trapping and guard destructions against his opponents to create openings for his punches. This way, he can effectively alternate between double jabs and destroying his opponent's defense. So overall, Usyk is a solid all-rounder. Weaknesses. Even undefeated champions like Usyk have flaws, and according to Tyson Fury, quote, "I think he's a good boxer, but still, he's not that good. He tends to take hits. He's small, light, and doesn't move fast." That said, we can safely state that the Ukrainian boxer doesn't perform so well when he's drawn to fighting at close range. And although he is very fast and nimble on his feet, Usyk doesn't exactly have the best knockout power in the heavyweight division. Due to his comparatively shorter height and range, it's natural that bigger guys will try to walk him down. However, with his victory over AJ, it seems that Usyk can more than handle himself against the other heavyweight champions. Despite the 20-pound weight difference and a smaller reach of 198 centimeters, Usyk defeated Joshua, which makes his victory even more impressive. Okay, now it's time to talk about AJ's style and how it will help him against Usyk. Anthony Joshua. Fighting style. AJ uses the orthodox boxing style in the ring, so he has a typical boxer punch style. With a staggering reach of 208 centimeters, AJ uses his size and athletic ability to overwhelm his opponents. To be quite honest, he isn't exactly the greatest boxer in the world, but he has mastered the basic boxing fundamentals and turned his jabs into seriously wicked power shots. AJ tends to have a mean streak when it comes to knocking out his opponents. In fact, he takes every opportunity to pounce on them by throwing powerful right-hand straights, uppercuts, and hooks. Moving on, what about some of AJ's strengths and weaknesses that can impact his performance in the ring when he faces Usyk once more? Strengths. The jab. AJ understands the importance of the jab best, and his boxing reflects that. He often uses the jab in a textbook clinical fashion. This helps him to set the distance and vary his shots. He's actually pretty good at switching up his jabs. If he uses his jabbing technique wisely, he might just reclaim his title. Size and power. Towering at 6 feet 6 inches with a reach of 82 inches and a massive frame, AJ can easily force enough power behind his punches. Especially in the heavyweight division, size and reach are what drive the match. So when AJ hits his opponents, they will always feel the damage and might not be able to recover from his punches fast enough. By using his huge muscled frame to his advantage, Anthony Joshua can dominate most heavyweights, even Usyk. Weaknesses. Sometimes, your biggest strength can turn into your downfall. In AJ's case, it's his humongous size. Due to all that muscle mass and weight, AJ often lacks the stamina to make it to the final round safe and sound. So his stamina is a sore point that can bring his performance down. And although he doesn't have a glass jaw, meaning he hasn't taken a hit from Klitschko's right or White's best shots, but AJ's defense still leaves a lot to be desired. Moreover, he has shown discipline in sticking to a tight plan in the ring, but he cannot improvise during a fight. Not to mention that the former champion gets tagged too easily after landing a nice shot. Lastly, he is too keen to get a quick finish, which often ends badly for him. So if Joshua works on his tactics, footwork, defense, and stamina, there is a high chance that he will be able to win back his title as the heavyweight champion. Only time will tell who the real champion is. And that's all for today. Click on one of the 4 videos on the screen right now.